Hello and a pleasant afternoon to everyone. I would like to greet our viewers here in the Zoom platform. And I also would like to welcome our Facebook viewers. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. I hope everyone's doing okay. And now we are on our last episode for this webinar series of the Lifestyle Medicine and Natural Remedies November series. So this afternoon, we will have a very interesting topic regarding on how to evoke behavior change. So we have here with us our dear speaker, who I will be introducing a little while. So a little reminder before we go on to our program, please make sure that your microphones are in mute to avoid any disturbances to our speaker and of course our whole program and those who are watching in the Facebook viewers. And we are streaming live via Facebook through Dr. Lelaine Altonoso's Facebook account and of course our official Facebook page, the Adventist Health Ministries of Southern Asia Pacific Division. So for those who are watching in our Facebook Live, please if you can to host a watch party so that more people can be able to watch and they can also learn from this afternoon's topic. Very interesting one. So I would like to welcome our health directors and of course our fellow church members and our friends from all over the world who are watching this time. And I also would like to tell you that for those who have attended at least 3 times or those who have completed attending our webinar series for this month will be able to receive a certificate of attendance. And our host will be posting the link for the attendance this afternoon program. So make sure that you'll be finishing our program this afternoon so you can sign in for your attendance. So now may I request Ma'am Nayab to please lead us in our opening prayer. So Ma'am Nayab is our Health Ministries Director from Pakistan. Yes, Ma'am Nayab.
Okay, let's pray. Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you have showered upon us. We are truly grateful for them. Thank you for allowing us today to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another in this seminar. May you extend your divine wisdom to our speaker so that he would be able to impart effectively his God-given message to all of us. May be he blessed as continue to bring his expertise to people who need him. Bless the participants as well. I ask these few words in your holy name. Amen.
Making a list of all of the good things you've done for me. Lord, I've never been one to complain, but right now I'm lost and I can't find my way. My world's come apart and it's breaking my heart, and it helps to know your heart is breaking too. When I cry, you cry. When I hurt, you hurt. When I've lost someone, it takes a piece of you too. When I fall on my face, you fill me with grace. Nothing breaks your heart much to lose, but I trust it to you. You bring me through, and it helps me to know that I'm not alone. When I cry, you cry. When I hurt, you hurt. When I've lost someone, it takes a piece of you too. When I fall on my face, you fill me with grace. Nothing breaks your heart or tears you apart like when I cry. You're the one who calms the raging sea. You're the one who makes the blind to see. You look through all of heaven and eternity, and through it all you saw me. When I cry, you cry. When I hurt, you hurt. When I've lost someone, it takes a piece of you too. When I fall on my face, you fill me with grace. 'Cause nothing breaks your heart or tears you apart like when I cry.
Thank you very much for that song. So now I will be introducing our dear speaker this afternoon. So our speaker, Dr. Edward Nathan, is the resident public health doctor in Penang Adventist Hospital. He completed his primary and secondary education in Penang, Malaysia, and then continued his medical education at Christian Medical College in Vellore, India. He began his medical career as an intern with the Ministry of Health, Government of Malaysia, completing a 4-year compulsory service prior to obtaining a Malaysian practicing license. His service with the Malaysia government brought him to hospitals in Sabah, West Malaysia, where he worked as an obstetrics, surgical, and orthopedic medical officer. In 1997, he began working in Penang Adventist Hospital as a cardiac surgeon trainee and then in emergency room. From the year 2001, he has been with the Wellness Center of Penang Adventist Hospital as he believes that preventive medicine is an important and integral part of making man whole and well. To further his expertise in the field of preventive medicine, Dr. Edward became a student at Loma Linda University, California, USA, completing his MPH and Doctor in Public Health in Preventive Care. His special interest in preventive medicine is in the field of health risk assessment and corporate wellness, as well as helping those who want to quit the smoking habit. As the saying goes, prevention is better than cure rather. Therefore, Dr. Edward likes to educate the public on health education issues so that the public are equipped with knowledge on disease prevention. He has been involved in this field since 2001, educating individuals on their health using the HRA as well as giving public health talks, both to the public as well as to the health professionals like doctors, nurses, and pharmacists. He has been a member of the CMC Vellore Association and Council that governs Christian Medical College, Vellore, India. a premier medical institution in India since 2009. He also has an interest in research and started the Adventist Clinical Research Center in Penang Adventist Hospital. He has been involved with stop smoking activities since 2003 and has helped many to quit the butt. He runs stop smoking group session therapy as well as conduct one-to-one stop smoking sessions since 2004. He has given numerous talks on stop smoking efforts to both government and non-government stop smoking events. He is also an active member of Pen Bar Committee, Penang Bebas Asap Rokok, a state government initiative towards making Penang state smoke-free. His enthusiasm in the church has made him active in health missionary outreach and has been to places like China, Vietnam, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Indonesia, and East and West Malaysia, serving the needs of both the poor and needy in wanting medical help as well as helping the church in its health outreach program and reducing the non-communicable disease among the urban population. He is also an active member of the Penang Adventist Hospital Church, serving in various positions as the head elder and treasurer over the past 20 years. At the moment, he serves as the Sabbath school teacher of his local church. Dr. Edward speaks English, Malay, and Hokkien. He is active in sports and likes the outdoor activities like snorkeling, climbing hills and mountains, and camping. He plays badminton and football. If there is more spare time, he enjoys his childhood hobbies of airplane modeling and playing table soccer. And Dr. Edward Nathan is also the brother of our dear Health Ministries Director of Peninsular Malaysia, Ma'am Ellen Nathan, who is also here with us this afternoon. So now I will be giving my time to our dear speaker, Dr. Edward Nathan, with his topic, How to Evoke Behavior Change. Dr. Edward.
Thank you, Kezia, for the introduction. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I bring to you a very interesting topic, a topic that usually is not shared that much, and the topic that is usually learned only in classroom. So together with this, it's mainly coming from an experience. A lot of psychologists will use this topic and form it as part of their teaching session. But today I'm going to bring a small little class and introduction. In my 20 years, I've used this topic a lot to help to motivate people to improve or make themselves have a better lifestyle or change of behavior. Let me see if I can share my slides in a moment. Yes. Just a minute. Okay, I hope everybody can see my slides. How to evoke a change of behavior. I work in Penang Adventist Hospital and I'm an adjunct professor with IAS and AUP at this present moment. A lot of people ask the question, why do you want to change? Why can't we live with the same lifestyle that we have all this while? You know, when we grow up, if your parents are God-fearing, they would have teach you very good, healthy lifestyles from the start. And probably with that, you will continue to live with that lifestyle for the rest of your life. But we live in a sinful world, and it's not the blames of, we should not blame parents, but the society, the environment around us makes us go into a certain lifestyle when we were young. Up to the age of about 6 or 7 years old, a lot of choices that children make are choices that they like. But are the choices that they like good or not good? That's an interesting question. And children make choices based on their likes. They're not based on principles. Principles are only taught to the children through the parents or through any adults that come within the circle of life. And so if the adults give very good teaching session or coaching session to these children, then probably they will have good choices as they grow up. But many a times nowadays, a lot of times I've seen parents say that, let my child learn whatever he wants to. When he grows up, he will change. Let him change when he grows up. Nowadays, we do not discipline the children. Let them grow and do whatever they want to. Let them enjoy their life. But there can be a problem. I still remember in my class in Loma Linda, there were two girls, very obese. And as when we went through the obesity class, they were crying. And so we stopped halfway during our class and asked them, why? And they said, you know what? I blame my parents for making us fat. And the reason why they cried is that we would never thought about this. My mother would say, if we wanted ice cream, okay, go, I'll buy for you ice cream. I'll give you cakes. And they never knew that it was bad. They just took it because parents allowed them to do it. And therefore they grew. And now when they are already in their 20s and they found out that it's bad to be obese. And when they want to change, it's difficult to change. And this is the things that sometimes we have to think about ourselves. The question we ask ourselves is, why do we change? There may be many reasons. Of course, one of the health reasons is you want to be healthy. You are already not so good in health, and therefore you want to evoke a change. You might have diabetes, you might have a heart disease, and therefore you want to change. A new field that is now coming up, or a new field that we are all now involved in, is preventive medicine. And many times I tell my patient who are 20, 30s, not 20s, in the 30s, you need to change. Morning, I had to tell a person who's smoking to stop smoking. And he's looking at me and says, why do I need to stop smoking? It's okay. I'm 30 years old. And I said, there will be consequences when you are old. He says, when that old time comes, when I cross the bridge, then only I will change. I said, that can be too late. You can die immediately. I don't think it will happen to me. And so sometimes in preventive medicine, we get discouraged when we see some of these people, but there are some people who are willing to change. I have a 9-year-old, it's about 39-year-old, who came last week, and he made a drastic change. He is a non-religious person. That means he doesn't believe in any religion, engineer. He comes and do his regular checkup because his company gives him the benefit of doing yearly checkup. And so last year when he came, he had fatty liver, his cholesterol was high, sugar was high. He's not a fat, obese person. You know, when you picture all these people who are really bad in health, poor, he's nice, slim, but he had blood results. His blood results were bad. So I said, you look nice on the outside, you don't look nice on the inside. You need to change. And he went back, and about a month later, that was last year, he sent me an email and said, doctor, what can I do to change? I said, wow, that's good. Very rarely do people send an email after they see the doctor. And so he decided to change. And last week when I saw him, he made a lot of changes. One of the big changes he made was to stop alcohol. Now, some of you would think that alcohol, at least for us in Adventist, we don't drink, so there's nothing wrong. But for him, alcohol was a big thing. It was where he can socialize with his friend. It's a time that he can enjoy his life. And at 39, prime time of life, he has decided to stop alcohol. So I asked him, with all these lifestyle changes that you change, are you happy? I asked him that. He, without a doubt in his mind, without any thinking thoughts, he says, yes, doctor, I'm happy. So I says, now I'll be able to go out with your friends. He says, no, it's okay. I go out with my friends. I just don't drink alcohol. And you can see the smile, the gladness that he has in his life because he has made that change. And when he made that change, he was very happy. So a lot of people make changes. Some people make changes because of their family or friends. You know, especially husband and wife, you poke each other, and because husband and wife live with each other for 24 hours per day, and therefore they know all the good and sinful habits that other people don't know, right? And therefore the husband and wife or the children may say, Daddy, you need to change. Mama, you need to change. Or darling, you need to change. A spouse to each other. And therefore that might be reasons. But the problem with this is somebody is forcing you to change. You might not want to change. Somebody is forcing you to change. And therefore that might be a stumbling block in that process where you do not want to change, but somebody wants you to change. But however, Chaska says, if you keep poking the person for about 6 months in the pre-contemplation stage, you keep poking it, that person will probably change. So never give up in helping somebody to be better. Keep poking him. Poking in the sense, insisting, hey, make a change, make a change, make a change. For many of us over here who are Seventh-day Adventists, we live in a church, and I believe this is the last day church. The last day church tells us that we need to be ready for Jesus' second coming. And all of us think that to be ready for Jesus' second coming, we must be very good in our Bible. Yes, we learn the three angels message. Yes, we learn the sanctuary service. Yes, we learn the 7-day Sabbath service. But what about health? Many of us in the Seventh-day Adventist Church tend to ignore health. And when we do read about health, it's okay, doctor. I can still eat fish. Anyway, Jesus blessed the fish, so I should be able to eat fish. It's okay. I can eat some chicken. It's nice. Why should I go vegetarian? It's not important for me to be vegetarian. I think if you read into the church and the church believes, I believe it promotes very good health. And it's very interesting now when I talk to most of my patients. I would say 99 of my patients in my hospital are not Adventists. And you can see how much they are determined to live a healthy life. And here in the church, we have the health message. And many of our church members are not believing in the health message to change. But so some of you, you might change. You might want to change because you have read and you believe that that is the correct message. And therefore, you might want to change. As I mentioned just now, the peer pressure, it's not just family and friends, but peer pressure, okay? Research, and that's very interesting. Many of us in the scientific world, we would have read research. We would have read newspapers that talks about research that says people who, for example, research came out last year says in Finland, very interesting about Finland is that if you sleep between 6.5 to 8 hours, you have very good sleep and you have a good chance of living long. Isn't that a nice research? But when you give that to this modern world now, who's going to sleep between 6.5 to 8? All of us sleep 5 hours, 6 hours. We don't want to sleep too long. But that's what the research says. If you sleep well, then you will live long. So you might read some of this research. You might read it in a research article, or you might read it in a book, or you might read it in the newspaper. And those things that happen to you might suddenly change. I still remember as a 15-year-old boy sitting down in Penang Church, look at every Sabbath, going to church, and you know, most of the time at 14, 15 years old, most of the time we should not make noise in church, and we don't. So we will do some coloring or some artwork in church. And the pastors usually will preach a lot of things about the Bible and the Bible stories, which you know because you grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist home. But suddenly one pastor one day, I still cannot remember who that pastor is until now, suddenly decided to preach about health. And I, as a 15-year-old boy, suddenly opened my ears and my eyes. Pastor is preaching about health. Yes, Penang, we have an Adventist hospital. We promote health, but very rarely do they preach health in the church. Very rarely. And this is the first time, you know, we hear about health because my father works in the hospital. I go to the hospital every day to play, to do something there, and know every part of the hospital. But in church, you don't hear about health. But this time, there was a pastor preaching about health. And I turned. And I was so impressed that I went back and told my mom that I'm going to be a vegetarian at 15 years old. So sometimes things can make you change. And it can be research, it can be religion, it can be family or friends. Sometimes you might be sick of eating a certain food, well, unhealthy food, and therefore you just do not want it anymore. And then you read and you talk with your friends, and therefore you want to change. Some people read about all these articles and they read and they hear from their friends, hey, I think it's good for you to change your lifestyle habits. It's good for you to stop smoking. It's good for you to not drink alcohol. Adventists, what our most sin, as far as I see in Adventists, maybe might not be part of the diet. Maybe you're not exercising that much. Maybe as Adventists, we are not sleeping that good. Maybe as Adventists, we do not drink enough water. Yeah. So some of these good things we are not doing. And so what happens when you hear all these things? As I said, religion is supposed to change you, but no, I still like my bad lifestyle. Maybe for some Adventists, we like to snack. I just like that chocolate cake. I must eat chocolate cake every day. I must have my ice cream every day. I must have. If it's empty, I will order and get it from the shop and fill up my freezer with an ice cream so that I can eat ice cream every day. So some people can be addicted. In a lot of times we think addiction is only to coffee, to tea, and all these addictive drugs. Addiction can be to any processes or any food that you keep doing it without changing it much. Some people just love doing it even though they know it's bad. And many of times we do it because our friends do it, so we do it. And many of us do not know how to change. We only depend on our own self to change. And I will give you some tips afterwards on how to change. We will always have choices to choose as we come to a fork road, which one to take, the right or the left. You have to make those choices. If you make the wrong choices, I hope you can backtrack it and come to the right choice. Many decisions, as I said, are made in youth. And I think youth have to be guided. They cannot be left alone to choose their food. They cannot be left alone to choose their lifestyle. Now in COVID, all the children are staying at home and learning from the computer. It doesn't mean that when they learn from the computer, they're smart. No, they still need to be guided. There needs to be certain times that they should be on the computer. We cannot say that the children have the freedom to choose. The children only has the freedom to like and dislike, but the adults have to guide that choice for them. It's very important. We have many choice and freedom. Choice and freedom can lead to sin, but choice and freedom can lead also to salvation. And I think it's very important for us to think about our health and our lifestyle too. Yes, we have the free will, but I hope you have the free will to choose good choices. And most of it are based on informed choices. You must have heard of this research, here. I'll come back to this a bit. You must have heard of this research before. Lifestyle Habits That Influence Longevity by Breslow and Belloc. Very two, prominent public health doctors from UC Berkeley in California. They made these 7 decisions about lifestyle habits. 1, adequate sleep. I told you about the Finland study, 6.5 to 8 hours. This study says 7 to 8 hours. So you need about 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. How many of you are going to make that change after you're listening to this talk today, that tonight onwards, you're going to sleep 7 to 8 hours. You're going to go to bed at 10 o'clock. Ellen White says you should start your sleep 2 hours before midnight. Basically, it's 10 o'clock. You should start your sleep at 10 o'clock and get a nice 8 hours. Wake up 6 o'clock in the morning. How many of us do that? No eating between meals. Is that a problem with our church members? Do we have a nice chocolate or nice tidbit beside us because we feel hungry in between? When we go for a conference, must have some food in between. So I must have some fruits also. Some people use the excuse of using fruits as okay, it's acceptable. I can eat in between meals. After all, it's fruits. There's a lot of science into it. I think if I go into that, it will take another 2-3 hours of sessions about it. But a nutritious daily breakfast. The study actually didn't say nutritious. Here we put the word nutritious. The study says eat breakfast every morning. Every morning. Do Adventists wake up in the morning and eat breakfast every morning? A lot of you will say yes, yes, yes. And what is your breakfast? A cup of Milo, and that's it. And that's breakfast. Or maybe a small little bowl or one slice of bread and your soya bean drink. And that's breakfast. Breakfast is like a meal. It's a full meal that keeps you full throughout the morning and before you need it. I know of a few studies in the US that says if you don't eat breakfast, it contributes to roadside accidents because you don't have enough energy that comes from your morning food that gives you the concentration. So you will need to eat breakfast every morning. You need to maintain the recommended body weight. You cannot be obese. Now, the important factor now is instead of body weight, they're going to body fat because there are some people who are very muscular and their body fat is low. Okay, all this sports person. I had a very interesting patient yesterday who from 100, his blood test, he's 140 kilos now. 140 kilos are not pounds, kilos. He is a very obese person. Yesterday, he came to see me. He's been seeing me for 2 years. A year before, he was 180 kilos. Okay, he's an engineer. Okay, he's an engineer. He does his treadmill on his bike, no, not treadmill, his bicycle in the house, 1.5 hours per day, about 4 to 5 days per week. Very strong in exercise, very good in his diet. He lost 40 kilos, 40 kilos in 1 year. So if you look at him straight away, he says, you're still fat. You are still no good. But he's lost 40 kilos. And that's very good. And because of his 40 kilos that he's lost, he has a lot of flabs. His skin has folded now because he's lost so much fat. You know, an interesting thing about him, if you look at him on the outside, you will think that his sugar is high, his cholesterol is high, his blood pressure is high, he's got problems with his liver, he's got problems with his whatever. All his medical tests, I wish I can reproduce his chart today, is normal. Very normal. Sugar, I can still remember 5.2 millimoles of sugar, fasting blood sugar. Much more better than any of you slim ladies over here or slim guys over here. And his sugar, it's 5.2. His cholesterol, unbelievable, 3.8 millimoles, millimoles, not milligrams, 3.8. So it times by about 40, 120 milligrams of total cholesterol. That is so nice. In fact, all cardiologists would like their patients to get that low. And he's doing it without medication. The only thing wrong with him is he's fat. So I asked him one interesting, were you born a fat baby? And he says, yes. He says, wow, doctor, you're the first person to ask me about that. I didn't ask him before because I thought he always this thing, but because he lost his weight. Because he was trying to get below 100. That was his target. The fat cell theory says this. If you are born as a fat baby, you have a lot of cells compared to the normal person. And because you have a lot of cells, fat cells, it is very unlikely that you're going to drop to a lower level. Okay? And so because of that, I told him, what you're doing is good. Motivate. I motivated him. I said, continue to what you're doing. If you have continued with, and you're persistent with your lifestyle, you might have to see a plastic surgeon to see what other ways we can come to bringing your weight into a perceived ideal weight, but it's actually, to me, quite ideal. You know, his wife was sitting beside me. She's not really that fat, but she's about BMI 27. That's it. But you know, she says, I actually accept my husband. He's okay. I'm glad for what he's done so far. He has made the family change all our lifestyle habits. We're not 100% vegetarian, but 90% vegetarian. They are not Christians, by the way. And she says, I'm motivated by what he's doing. She says, I cannot imagine him as an engineer coming back from work and 1.5 hours doing his bicycle at home on that bicycle machine for 1.5 hours, 4 to 5 days a week. You know, I'm motivated also when I hear all these type of stories that people can do a lot of things to make themselves well. Externally, he doesn't look well, but internally, he looks fantastic. So maintaining body weight is important, but sometimes it's also important to see whether your body fat comes down. The other 3 habits that are very important is regular physical activity, no use of tobacco, which is not a problem for Adventists, and no use for any alcoholic beverage, which is also not a problem for most or many Adventists. We usually don't have problems in number 6 and number 7, but many Adventists have problems with number 5. I'm going to backtrack. Many Adventists have problems with number 1. Many Adventists might have problems with number 3, and many Adventists has problems with number 4. And we have to ask ourselves, do we want to change? Do we want to invoke a change in our lifestyle? Is your life in balance? You can ask yourself, balance in spirituality? Is your life balanced in terms of also in health? Yes, we avoid a lot of these harmful things. We know that we have avoided all of them. But what about the other things that are hidden? Snacks, the high fructose corn syrups that you find in all your Oreo biscuits. Nobody is going to say in an Adventist circle, you cannot eat Oreo biscuits. Nobody in an Adventist circle says, please do not eat potato chips. No, they will say, it's okay, fine. That's a good thing. But how much? How much do you eat? How much do you control all these foods? And so that can be an influence for you to change. After reading some of these things, are you going to make a change? And this is a research, by the way. The 7 habits that come from Belloc and Breslow are research. Are you going to make a change? Some of you are not convinced enough. What about your religious life? Are you as an Adventist or for any religion that you believe, a reason for you to change? It is interesting now that many people, for whatever religion, like to adopt a healthy life. The Buddhists have their own special way to become healthy by being vegetarian. The Hindus also do it. I haven't seen it much in the Muslim religion yet of adopting healthy life, but because nearly everybody promotes good health, which means lessening your heart disease, lessening your diabetes or hypertension, the other religions also say, okay, yeah, we have to live a healthy life. Today in Malaysian newspaper, The Star reported today online. So I guess it's going to come in the newspaper tomorrow, but today online. The #1 killer in Malaysia is heart disease. And when you look into heart disease, there are 4 big factors that causes heart disease. Smoking, high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol. All these are lifestyle changes. So for a person in Malaysia, if they read the newspaper today or tomorrow and they see this, are you going to make a change? Of course, everybody says, Adventist, we don't smoke. Oh, many people don't smoke. But what about sugar? How much sugar do you take? Okay, we don't take coffee and tea. At least as Adventists, we don't take. But in your Milo, how many spoons of sugar do you put? 5 spoons, 3 spoons, 2 spoons of sugar? I talk about Milo because I'm in Malaysia. Or any Bonvita or chocolate drink that you might do it in other parts of Asia, or where many of you are come from. How much sugar do you put into them? Cholesterol. A lot of people say Adventists should not have cholesterol. Actually, you're correct, because cholesterol are found in big red meat and seafood. We don't eat prawns, we don't eat crabs, we don't eat pig. But we eat beef, we eat mutton, we eat chicken. Chicken is white meat, still has cholesterol. And everybody thinks that fish is the safest. There's a lot of problems with fish nowadays, you know. And even when I was in Loma Linda, a lot of advocacy about dioxin toxicity in fish. I know that has been said a lot about it. But you know that fish also has cholesterol. And if you already come from a family background that has high cholesterol eating fish, and you think that's okay, is it good? Let me ask for many of you, we are going to heaven, right? Yes, I think we are going to heaven. Are you going to eat fish in heaven? You're going to eat that chicken in heaven? And some of my pastor friends will tell me, doctor, don't be so hard on us. We're going to change in a twinkling of an eye. We're going to change. And so because we're going to change, we're not going to eat fish in heaven. We're not going to eat chicken in heaven. So my question to them, of course, this is all a theological background, a discussion sometimes is, what about now? Aren't you preparing yourself for heaven? Aren't you supposed to be enjoying what you're doing now for heaven? In other words, in heaven, we're going to plant flowers and garden and all that. Are you going to do that now? Or are you just going to say, wait until I go to heaven and do it? If you're going to do that, that's a big discussion about, are you really going to enjoy heaven or not? And if you want to enjoy heaven, you have to enjoy a good life, and a good, healthy life now on earth. And again, those are some of the reasons that you might want to change. Your religious life or thoughts might want you to change. How much faith have you in God to tell you that you can change? Adventists see good health as a gift from our Creator God. Even the best maintenance cannot guarantee disease-free life. But you know a lot from Adventist Health Study. Many of you are in the health ministry now of the church. You know that the Adventist Health Study says that Adventists live longer than non-Adventists. And Adventist vegetarians live longer than Adventists who are not vegetarians. Lots of studies. What do you want to do with that research? Again, you might use that to evoke a change, or you might say, it's okay, Edward. Those are all research. I'm a simple man living in my own village. It's okay. I want to eat my own food and enjoy my own simple life. And if you do that, there's a possibility that your life, yes, you might be living longer than your friend, but you're not living the life as full as God would want you to be. And therefore, I would like you to live as long as you can, as healthy as you can, and as effective as you can for God. So how do you come about this change? We learn in classroom many things, and one of the topics that we learn about it is self-efficacy. Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. But this is one of the things about success. You have to motivate yourself. You have to keep motivating yourself, which will increase self-efficacy inside you. And when you are self-efficacious, then you will succeed. That's 4 steps that you can do, but I usually will talk about the 3 steps that are very important in self-efficacy. Past and actual performance, your experiences, and the people around you that persuades you. Past and actual performance is very important in telling you that you can do it. You can make a change. Okay? So the past experience is like this. If you have done it before, you would probably be confident of doing again. And so you have to sometimes look at the successes that you have when you were young. Many of us are young here, but when you were younger, think of the success that you have. And it can be very interesting success. You can say, I'm not good in my studies, but I was good in singing. And you can translate that thing that you were good in singing to say, I can do better with my healthy lifestyle. In other words, let's say you do not eat breakfast very much, but because you can say, I'm very good in singing, I'm very good in my music, I will make it very good in my changing my lifestyle to become better by eating breakfast regularly now every day. Yes, you can do that. So you sometimes draw on the good experience that you've done before and translate it to the present. And therefore, that will give you confidence. You need to be confident with the changes that you're making. If you keep looking, I failed my studies, I'm not a good singer, I'm not a good player, I'm not handsome, I'm not beautiful, then self-efficacy says it's going to be very difficult to succeed. And therefore, we have to be positive. And I always believe that Christians are positive people. Christians are not negative people. Christians are positive people. We look at the good things that we have. By the way, when I said we are not negative, we have negative things. Every one of us have negative things because we are sinful. But we do not dwell on the negative thing. We dwell on the positive things. You know, if you can make a cake and somebody likes your cake, wow, very good. I can do my cake now. Now I can make chocolate cake every day. I can sing, but I'm not very good artist. Who wants you to be an artist? If you can sing, sing. Or maybe opposite. You're not a good singer, you're a good artist. Whatever you can do. So think of the good things that you can do, and that will probably make you become successful later on in life. Vicarious experiences. This is one of the things that sometimes you look into your successes in life. I remember going to medical school, and I was not a very bright student, okay? But I'm not also a very bad student. I'm the middle student. Sometimes you go through medical school or you go through certain things that you do, and you ask yourself this question, will I ever make it? Will I ever do it? Will I ever, be successful and all that? But it's interesting that when I went through school, I always ask myself, when I ask this question, will I ever graduate from medical school? And I said, if that person who I think is worse than me can graduate, I also can graduate. So sometimes you think that person looks like me, but if he's good in calculus, even though I'm not good, I will. This is to invoke into you the confidence that you can do it. That's called vicarious experience. So sometimes you will need to draw again the experience of other people or yourself as compared to other people. And let me tell you, as Christians, we are all successful because we have found Jesus Christ. And is Jesus Christ a failure? No. Jesus Christ is not a failure. He's a successful person. And you can be successful in many, many things. And you can be successful in your home. You might not be successful in your home, but you might be successful outside your home. So look into places and things that you can be successful. Look into others that you can be successful. and be able to do it. Am I going to do sky jumping? I don't know. I don't think I will ever do sky jumping. But if I've got 2 or 3 of my friends and my age who is willing to do sky jumping, I might go for it. Yeah, so this is what the experience will come and push you. But of course, I won't do something that's dangerous now at this age of 55 years old. But what I'm trying to say is you will be able to feel and see what others, if they can do it, sometimes you're doing. In psychology, some people will use the word modeling, which I mentioned a bit. I will mention about it a bit later. I'm not sure many of you have any models when you were young. You know, put a picture of a good singer, Engelbert Humperdinck, Cliff Richard. Those are my singers, my time. Who sing, don't know what, because they are good singers, you know. So you want to follow them and you want to idol them. Of course, for us, it will be heritage singers, Max Mays, who just passed away, you know. And you know, heritage singers is good. I must also create a group like heritage singers. So you model them. You find out how they sing their songs. You don't have to go actually to a training, a formal training to be good. You do it on yourself. And I know many of you here watching now are good singers and are good pianists and are good piano players, not because you went through a formal class, but because you train yourself. And I know many of you train your voice in the bathroom. So when you'll be bathing and then after a while, you're a good singer. So same thing with piano or playing certain guitar or certain instruments. You practice. Yes, you might have gone through a formal class, but after that, you kept practicing and you instill that confidence because you say, I want to be like this pianist, or I want to be like that player, or I want to be like this. And so the experience of others sometimes makes you better. Social persuasion is also a very important thing that makes you become confident. You know, nobody wants to stand alone, but usually there's some leader in the crowd. And when that leader in the crowd says, let's do it, okay, everybody does it. So that's why being involved in a good society, Pathfinders, is very good, where you got good leaders in Pathfinders and you got good activities in Pathfinders. And this can persuade you to do a lot of things, and you might achieve things that you have never known before. And so social persuasion is very important. Encouraging others, encourage from others that will help you along the way. Okay. Self-efficacy is not just mind games. We have to keep our minds fixed on something and tend to become like that mental image that we focus on. Remember, that's modeling. So I remember when I was young, I played soccer or football. And for soccer and football, I was a goalkeeper. And what do you learn? You go for training. You go training, you learn how to dive, you learn how to catch the ball, you learn how to do this. But that's not the only place where I learned training. Learn to be good. I also learned from observing. So I will go to a football game and observe. Even though the whole play, everybody watches where the ball is, I watch where the goalkeeper is. I watch how he stands. I watch what he does. And because I was involved in the football training in the club, I will watch all these top goalkeepers and how they position themselves and how they do them. They make good saves and this thing. Even in the television, when the ball is always in the goal area, everybody will focus how that person is going to score a goal. I look at the goalkeeper, where he stands and what he do. And in that way, it makes yourself become a better person or better player. That's in terms of sports. What about in terms of health? The same thing. You might think of a person in church who is very healthy. And you might ask yourself, why is he healthy? Maybe he goes to the gym regularly. Maybe he does his cycling very regularly. Maybe he does something that's very regularly. And so you try to say, he's doing all that. I want to be like him. I want to follow what he does. So there are two things that you play a lot of influence in self-efficacy. One, you follow a model. Or number two, you are a model that people follow you. So you need to be a positive influence to a lot of people. And so the last part is also very important in this point over here, rehearsal. You need to keep rehearsing in your mind. I can do it. I can change it. Yes, there are certain times in your life when it will fail. You want to exercise a lot, but for 3 days, it's raining. I heard a typhoon is coming to Philippines again. You already have 3. Now it's going to be number 4. So with all this typhoon, all your outdoor activities goes flat. But you can always say, no, I will still pick up myself. I will still go and exercise. I will still prepare myself. I remember I ran 2 marathons, 2 kilometers. My first marathon as a young man was like, everybody does it, so I think I can do it. Halfway through the marathon, I had cramps, but I still finished. I went through the whole thing and finished 5 hours, 15 minutes. Whew. That was a torturing marathon. And so about 7 months later, I went for the next marathon, and this time I went prepared. And it was quite good. But I was prepared in terms of the whole marathon, but this marathon in Kuala Lumpur is very interesting. The last 5 to 10 kilometers, it goes up and down the bypasses, you know, the overhead, the bypass. And every time you go through a gradient, you get tired again. So that was also another interesting experience. So, but I keep saying to myself, I'm going to finish the race. I'm going to finish the race. I'm going to finish the race. And this is what we all need to do as we change our lifestyle or evoke behavior change. You must always, when you go through a change, you must always start with the thing, I will change. I will change. Whether it's 1 month, 6 months, 1 year down the road, I will change. I have a simple formula for making people to change. And this is STAR, be a star, change. Number 1, I know some people use this for stop smoking, but I'm going to use this for behavior change. STAR, set a date, a time when you want to change. Make a time period. In 3 months, I will change. Or next week onwards, I will start changing. And sometimes for that, people write a diary because they want to know what is their habit before, and they need to know what is the limiting factors for that habit for them to change. For example, is it because of time? Okay, now I'll make it a point that I will try to finish early or finish on time, because every time I work overtime, and now I will finish on time and go for my exercise. If exercise is the thing that you want to change. So set a date and a time for you to change. Model. It's very important that I said, copy people who want to change. You might even want to ask them to help you to change. T, you want to tell your friends that you are changing. Get the support from them. Tell your family members, I'm going to eat breakfast every morning. So mommy is going to come up with a breakfast cereal for you every morning. Or mommy is going to cook something for you every morning. Now you're going to make changes. And avoid those who are negative. And at this period, when you want to make changes, never mix around with people who give you negative ideas. So like, for example, most of the time when I talk with smokers, if you're making a change, you want to stop smoking, do not mix around with your friends who are smoking, because all of them are going to tease you. You think you can succeed at becoming a non-smoker? No, you will never be. No, do not mix with them. Do not talk to them so much. Yes, they might be your good friend, but do not talk to them so much. Tell them, sorry, bye-bye. For the next 3 months, I'm not going to see you. I'm going to see all my other people who are not smoking, and avoid them, because you need to build up that whole thing in your mind for you to have a positive image. Avoid those who are negative. Search for material to help you to change. The materials nowadays are found online. YouTube has a lot of materials to help you to change. You can use it. The only thing is what you read from the internet, is it correct or is it not? In general, let me see, did I put it here? In general, you choose websites that are government-based. So any website which ends with a GOV, it's a very good website, okay? Anything that ends with an EDU, that means comes from a university, is a good website. Any website that promotes a sale, you must buy this, you must get this product or subscribe to it. If you like my formula to become a healthy person, come and subscribe, pay $15. Don't join all those websites. So go to websites that are government-based, educational-based, or university-based, or church-based. These 3 websites usually are the 3 websites that I can tell you that will give you very good information on what you can do to change your lifestyle. You need to anticipate when you come to behavior change. There are 3 things that I usually tell people to anticipate. Time. Sometimes the time can be a stumbling block for many people to change, okay? You want to eat at 7 o'clock in the morning, but you wake up at 7 o'clock. How can? You cannot. You have to change the time. You have to sleep early, wake up early, get ready for your breakfast. You have to decide what is the time that you want to. If you want to do exercise in the evening, you must make sure that you know that when it comes to 5 o'clock, you cannot have anything else but exercise at 5 o'clock. That's it. I remember my friends in Loma Linda was very interesting. My first year over there, we had to do a lot of group assignments. And sometimes we will come up, okay, let's have this assignment at 6 o'clock. And everybody say, yes, yes, yes. And two of them will say, no, we have an appointment. Oh, okay. So we have to change again. Change. So finally, we changed to a certain time. And then at 6 o'clock, I go to the gym in Loma Linda and I do my exercise. I see my friend over there. Hey, I thought you said you have an appointment at 6 o'clock. What are you doing here? Oh yeah, my appointment is to do exercise at 6 o'clock. So they put the exercise thing in the appointment. Oh, I see. And in fact, that was very interesting for me. That's when I started to put a lot of things, even to put your lunch timing, because you want to eat a healthy meal. You put your lunch timing into your timetable schedule so that if you're a big, important person in let's say in administration, you don't have time for lunch, it is bad. So you put appointment 1 o'clock and that alarm will ring at 1 o'clock and you go for your lunch. That's it. And have a lunch. If you have appointment with 2 or 3 people, you only put one person. You don't put 2 or 3 people. I need to go fast. I have to end soon. So you have to anticipate time, the places that might make your behavior become better or worse. The most important is person. You want positive changes in person. And you might have to plan. You have to plan. Because if you don't plan, you plan to fail. Yeah? So the idiom is nice. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay, and remove anything that is associated with bad behavior. You might have to change the place of work. You might even have to change the place that you're staying. You might have to change your food to make yourself better. But all these are because you want to be better. You track yourself. As I said over here, you use government websites and you use websites that doesn't promote any specific products or sale. How can I remind myself to avoid making choices in emotional states? And this is the time when I feel that you need to ask for divine guidance. Ask for divine guidance. Group support is very good. I think it helps a lot. I know husband and wife would like to do exercise together. If the husband does alone, the wife will grumble, I don't like it. Or if the wife do alone and the husband grumbles. That's why a lot of people after they get married, sometimes they do exercise less. When they were single, yes, all gung ho. But then when they get married, you're going to exercise when play badminton with your friend. I'm alone at home. Okay, I won't play badminton. This thing. But you can always think of other activities that you can do as husband and wife. Group support, whether it's husband, wife, family, or group of friends from your workplace, get them to do a lot of things that you want to do to become better. You can all have this challenge of weight loss, challenge of sleeping better. All of you will make a challenge, put the $1 in the kitty every day. And at the end of the month, you got $30. Whoever slept the best will get the $30. Yeah, whatever. So you can do all those type of challenge. And group support is fantastic. I've seen a lot of success in group support in terms of stop smoking. Very good groups. Yeah. So the self-efficacy is when you do it alone. That one, you need a lot of self-motivation. So how to sustain? Think of the tough times that you think you will break through or you will feel you have a difficult encounter. So you must plan. After you have successfully changed, what are the encounters that you might face and how you're going to overcome it? You also might want to start helping somebody else now. Yay, I've learned now how to eat breakfast every morning. So now you'll help somebody else to eat breakfast better. So helping others also with your lifestyle changes helps. And you can help individuals or your family members to be better. You can ask some of friends, what do they do when they have all these battles that they have in their life? It can be friends in the church, can be friends in the workplace. It can be your doctor. It can be some nurses to give you all these new perspective and determined to copy good behaviors. Determined to copy good behaviors. Live and act like a new person. Sometimes when you change your lifestyle, you say, I cannot eat this, I cannot eat that, I cannot eat ice cream. I actually want ice cream. No, you must be happy that you don't want ice cream. You must be happy. Yes, once in a while, there's an ice cream, there's a birthday, you take. How many birthdays can you have in 1 year? Every day? No way. I don't think you can have birthdays every day. How big is your circle, your family or friends that you can have birthdays? The point, only when you have birthdays, you can eat your ice cream and your cake. Only when you have a certain thing, if you want to do a little bit not so good habits, you can do that. We call it cheat days. Yeah, a lot of people want to use cheat days now, the term cheat days. Of course, if possible, I think no. But my friend wanted to do a study of potluck and how healthy potluck is, church potluck. He didn't get along with it. So far, I've not seen anybody done any study on church potluck. I think it's a nice social event, and I missed that potluck for now for past 1 year because of COVID. So act like you have changed. If you're a non-smoker, if you're a smoker, change to a non-smoker, act and be good. And, I mean, enjoy those things, okay? And I'll use this thing as far as diet is concerned. For example, people want to change, and so now you choose good place to eat. You don't go back to your old coffee shop and eat all that unhealthy food over there. You choose good places. You choose restaurants that serve good food. You go on the internet and find where they are and look up, and they are. You plan your meals, you plan your lunch, you plan your dinner. All these needs planning. You cannot just simply go and open the fridge. What am I going to eat now? What am I going to eat for dinner? And then in Malaysia, at least in Malaysia, I think in Philippines or in another part of the world, nothing nice. Close the fridge. Grab food. What are you going to order? All your local Grab delicacies, which are healthy or unhealthy. I think they're unhealthy. So that's the problem. So we need to plan all these things. So this is an example for people who want to eat healthy and control their weight. So again, this is a government website, choosemyplate.gov, that tells you how to choose your meals. And lastly, my last slide, you must reward. There are nice rewards that when you change your lifestyle. I know a lot of people, we become healthy, we change and buy new clothing, look slimmer, look nice, good, yes. Some people change their lifestyle and they buy iPhone because I changed my lifestyle. Of course, I can reward myself with money. For example, for many people who have little bad habits, they spend about 40, let's say 10 US dollars per day on lousy food. Now when they eat healthy food, interestingly, when you eat healthy food can be cheaper and you might have saved money. I use that reward at the end of the month. Oh, I've got $40 extra. What can I do? Don't go and eat in a restaurant. Doesn't help. Buy a nice phone, buy a nice watch, buy a nice pen. So every time when you take out the pen, you can remind them, oh, this is the pen that I got because I lost 10 kilos. So this will always give a reminder, a positive reminder to you. I wish that all of you will have healthy lifestyle from now onwards. So one of the important things about behavior change is for you to have a healthy lifestyle. And I believe for Adventists, it's important for us to have healthy lifestyle. Thank you. I think my topic was mainly on lifestyle, but that's why I thought about behavior change and lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Edward. We learned so much from your topic. This is a very crucial one because I know most of us are struggling with the behavior change. Okay, so now we are open for the question and answer portion. So I've written here in our chat room. If you have any questions, please write it down. Okay, we have first question from Mom Jessica. So Doc, this is the first one. How can we draw the line between alternative medicine and lifestyle medicine?
Okay, in the hierarchy of medicine into making men whole, this is my hierarchy. I think lifestyle medicine is the most important. It forms the base of it, okay? And then after that, it forms the medicine part. That means if your lifestyle medicine doesn't help you to become better, then I will put as mainstream medicine. I put alternative medicine on the side. Why? Because sometimes alternative medicine might not have some scientific reasons beside it. So this is where I have a challenge on. If your alternative medicine makes you better, good. But if the alternative medicine has not improved your condition, for example, let's say you have a fatty liver and you took some alternative medicine methods, whether it's herbs or whether it's a change in habit or something like that. And after 1 year, you do the checkup and it still shows fatty liver, then your alternative medicine did not work. Now, most of the times, alternative medicine does not have a scientific backing most of the time. Yes, they have one or two. For example, some people say that coconut is good for health. So everybody starts taking coconut. But when you look into the classification by most dietitians, we know that coconut comes under the classification of saturated fatty acids. So we have to think about the science beside it. And I believe that science is very important. So Kezia, to answer that question, I would say lifestyle medicine makes a person change their life and is based on the science. Alternative medicine might not be based on the science, but if it does make a person better, I'm okay with it. But if it does not, you need to come back to mainstream medicine, which is either lifestyle or taking the medicine to make you become better. You cannot live with alternative medicine for the rest of your life if it does not make you become better, if it does not.
Okay, thank you very much, doctor, for making that clear. So we have another question. This is from Facebook, from our Facebook viewer, from Ma'am Adelpha. So she is asking Doc about intermittent fasting. So she said that she is fasting for 18 hours a day, and her first meal is 12 noon. So what do you think about intermittent fasting?
Actually, many of us go through intermittent fasting a different way. We eat breakfast in the morning and we eat a late lunch. And after that, we don't eat at all until the next morning, which is actually much of the Adventist way of teaching. Adventist says you either eat 2 or 3 meals per day. You don't eat. And if you eat the third meal, which is the dinner, or some people say supper at night, it's a very light dinner. It's not a heavy dinner. So that's a bit about like intermittent fasting. Now, remember what I told you about breakfast over there? Yeah. So the study says, this is a science part of the study. The study says eating breakfast in the morning is important. There are many factors behind it. As I said, I can give a 1-hour lecture on breakfast itself. And so the science says it's important to eat breakfast. Now, if you're going to do intermittent fasting and skip your breakfast, you're going to have a problem, slight problem over there by eating your first meal at lunch. What are you going to do for the morning part of your life? Let's say if you're working, where is the energy going to come from? What are you going to get to do things, especially if you have to drive around or work, or you have to make certain decisions in the morning? You might not be able to make wise decisions. You might be awake, but you might not be able to make wise decisions because the food that gives you energy is not there. So I would reverse the intermittent fasting and says you eat your breakfast, you eat your lunch a bit later, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and after that you fast or you don't eat that much until the next morning breakfast. And that's why it's called breakfast, break the fast. Intermittent fasting, the next question I have is, you want to lose weight. That's why you do intermittent fasting. How long are you going to do intermittent fasting? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? And after that, what's happening? You're going to go back to normal meal. And when you go back to normal meal, what's happening? You're going to gain weight. And 5 years later, okay, I've got too much weight. I've got to do my intermittent fasting again. That's a seesaw life, not good. It's better that you eat a healthy food regularly and live a nice, comfortable life for the rest of your life without worrying about weight. When you do a regular lifestyle, which is healthy, that means eat nice food as well, nice healthy food as well as exercise, keep your weight down that way, you don't have much problems. You don't have to worry about intermittent fasting. I'm only worried when people stop that intermittent fasting because you cannot live your whole life for the next 40 years with intermittent fasting. I haven't seen somebody live 40 years with intermittent fasting yet. So I'm wondering how they're going to survive after they stop the intermittent fasting.
Thank you very much, Doc, for making it clear. That's why it's called breakfast. So we have to take our breakfast.
Yes.
So another question, Doc, is genetics, or do genetics does it play a part for those people who are having difficulty in their behavior change? Or there are some people who have will find it more easier for them to change with their behavior, and those people who are having difficulty. So does it play a part in our well-being?
That's an interesting question. Very interesting. I do not have the answer for that, but I do have this answer: is that if your family have good, healthy lifestyle, then you as a child, and when you grow up and become a parent, you will practice good, healthy lifestyle. So I wouldn't use that word genetic, but I would use the word that if your family practices good, healthy lifestyles in the start, as a parent, you see from your parents as a child, as you grow up, you see that your parents does good, healthy lifestyle, they exercise well, and you as a child, the parents bring you to do play games and everything all when you were young. And now when you become a parent, you also continue their practices, you will probably pass on that healthy lifestyle behavior to your children. I do not see it as a genetic thing, but I see it as a environment thing. So if your environment is conducive and healthy, you will definitely have a healthy lifestyle in terms of family or genes. I mean, I wouldn't use the word genes, but people down the line.
Okay, thank you, Doc, for answering. So there's a comment here. This is related from the alternative and lifestyle medicine question. So, Mom Jessica said here that some people, especially here in the Philippines, would rather suck up their diseases or have the ailments treated in traditional or alternative ways. Furthermore, they don't consult their doctors. Yes, that's the big problem here in the Philippines.
It's not only
So
in the
thank you.
Philippines, yeah, it's all over the world. Do you know that even in the US, people will run down to Mexico for alternative medicine? When I was in Loma Linda, there were a lot of people who would go to Mexico for alternative medicine and all these stuff things. It's all over the world, and we have, as I said, if those medicine does help, this alternative way does help, then of course it will be good. But it has to be scientifically proven. But if I know for generation that certain lifestyle of this alternative herbs helps you, then of course I will promote it and do it well.
Okay. So thank you very much, Doc. So do we have any more follow-up questions? Okay. So I guess everything's clear. Thank you very much, Dr. Edward Nathan. We learned so much from your topic, and I'm hoping that we can have you again with our future webinars here in SSD Health Department. So before we proceed, we would like to give this token of appreciation in grateful recognition and appreciation for Dr. Edward Nathan for imparting his valuable insights to the participants of the Lifestyle Medicine and Natural Remedies webinar organized by the SSD Health Ministries Department, given this 26th day of November in the year of our Lord, 2020, signed by our President in SSD, Pastor Samuel Saw, Executive Secretary, Sir Rudy Baloyo, our Treasurer, Sir Max Lani, and of course, our very own Health Ministries Director, Dr. Maria Rizalin C. Alfanos. So, Doc, we will just be giving this to you through email. And thank you very much for imparting to us your knowledge. So now let's move on to the announcements. So I will now be giving the time to Dr. Lalaine Alfanoso to give the announcements and our upcoming programs here in our health department. Doc?
Okay, thank you so much, Keisha. Thank you so much, Dr. Nathan, for challenging each one of us to change our lifestyle for the better and be, a catalyst of change, to be a good influencer of good health. Hope to have you around again, Dr. Edward Nathan. Thank you again. Well, to all of you, those of you who are interested to attend free webinar on mental health. We have two upcoming free webinars. One is organized by Adventist Hospital Davao. It will be this coming weekend, and another one it will be tomorrow. Okay, the Adventist Medical College of Iligan, and we have Dr. Gumarao, Mylene Gumarao, and Dr. Ann Castillo as our resource speakers. So again, those are free webinars on mental health. Actually, it's for their employees, hospital employees, it's for their staff and for their students. But to those of you who are interested, then you can join us through Zoom and Facebook. Okay, again, Jessica, if you can show our poster. Again, we would like to invite each one of you to our upcoming, for our upcoming webinar this coming December. Okay, we have 3 powerful lady speakers and they will talk about the resiliency, the power of positivity, and a test of faith. Well, our host Keisha, you've been hearing a lot of hosting from Keisha, but to those of you who don't know, Keisha is has a master's in public health, and she had done a lot of medical missionary work. And I invited her to talk about the power of resiliency, or the effect of resiliency in times of adversity. So next Thursday, that should be December 3, we will be hearing from Keisha. So Keisha, I'm looking forward to that. And then on December, what's this? December 10, it will be Dr. Shian Castillo, and she will be expounding on the power of positivity. Well, Dr. Edward Nathan already tackled a bit of that, but Dr. Shian will be expounding more on the power of positivity. And then we have another lady power speaker, Miss Wani Salino Serrano, and he will talk about a test of faith. And I asked our health directors if we will still continue on with our health webinar during Christmas break and the New Year, but we decided not to, because we know that you will be you wanted to enjoy the Yuletide season with your family, so we will have a break for 2 Thursday, but we will be coming back again on January 7. Yeah, I think that's January 7. Okay, so that's it for our webinar for the month of December. And then upcoming for our forthcoming most awaited summit, it's the Adventist Health Professional Summit. It's a weekend summit with the theme sharing wholeness and serving all. Okay, and we would like to invite everyone, but this is designed especially to the health professionals, medical practitioners who are not working in the Seventh-day Adventist institution, who are working maybe in the government agencies, in a private organization, or in a private practice. We would like to invite you, okay? If you want to network and have linkages with friends from around Southern Asia Pacific Division, then this is the time for us. And we will be listening to the best practices coming from our speakers during the sharing session, during the workshop series. And then we will be recognizing our health champions, those who excelled and have done exemplary medical missionary work. Okay, so we have plenary sessions, and you can see in the poster the different speakers coming from the General Conference, from Southern Asia Pacific Division, and from our friends from Switzerland and Africa. So kindly invite your health professionals, medical practitioners, of course, those who are working in the Seventh-day Adventist institution are also welcome. Okay, all of you are welcome to attend the summit. Okay, it will start, by the way, on a Friday night. Okay, it will start at 7 p.m. Philippine time, and our keynote speaker would be Dr. Peter Landless, and it will go on after the keynote message. It will be it will be a workshop session, and we will separate by profession. Okay, the doctors will meet with the doctors, the dentists will meet with the dentists, the nurses will meet with the nurses, nutritionists will meet with the nutritionists, and each of the professions will have different activities in the workshop. And we have special program lined up for you during Sabbath morning and afternoon. There will be a musical cantata that is, we invited health professionals who are also singers who will sing during the musical cantata. And then we have a long line of speakers who will strengthen our faith more, okay, to do more on medical missionary work, to say, I will go, I will do my part. Okay, so that's in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, all the way up to Sunday. Okay, we will start again on Sunday by 8 a.m. and we'll end by 3 p.m. The recognition rites, the recognition ceremony, okay, for the health champions will be done Sunday afternoon. Okay, so that's it for the announcements. Again, everyone, we would like to thank each one of you. Those who are hosting a watch party, thank you, and please do host again a watch party. And to those who failed to watch this, you can watch this in our Facebook page, Adventist Health Ministries Department, Southern Asia Pacific Division, and our YouTube channel, Adventist Health Ministries Department of Southern Asia Pacific Division. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless. We'll see you again next week. Thank you, Kish. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Dr. Nathan.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Bye-bye, Doc. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma'am Lily.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Happy
much.
Thanksgiving. I forgot to tell you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanksgiving.
Are we having closing prayer?
Oh,
Closing prayer, Kish.
yes. So let's have the closing prayer first. And for the attendance, our host will be posting it here in the chat box. So let's ask Sir Jackson Claudio, one of our medical missionaries from Baguio, to lead us in our closing prayer. Sir Jack.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I hope my internet and my connection is okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sir Jack.
All right. Let us all pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we would like to praise and thank you for thy faithfulness, for your love, and for all of thy divine providences in every single day of our lives. We would like to praise and thank you, Lord God, for this afternoon, for reminding us, oh Lord God, to really take care of ourselves as well as in the ministry you have entrusted upon us, oh Lord God. Help us, Lord, to be shining light or a light upon others as well, that they may continue to see your goodness through us, oh Lord, and they will accept you as their personal Savior. Thank you, Lord, thank you, Heavenly Father, for the message that we have learned and we have heard this afternoon. May your name be glorified in everything that we do, especially in the ministry that you have entrusted upon us, O Lord our God. Thank you for everything. Be with our families. Be with us as we continue to work for your glory, both now and forever. May your name be glorified. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Sir Jack.
Thank you, po.
Thank you.
So,
okay, let's have a picture with Dr. Nathan. Okay, smile everyone. Kindly turn on your videos. Okay, smile. Videos on, please. Another one. Okay, thank you.
thank you, everyone. That is the attendance.
Hi, Jackson.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Dennis.